Yeehaw! I barely freaking tried with that shot. I'm gonna tell you guys a ghost story. This didn't technically happen to me, though it sort of happened to me. Okay, so back in the day, I'm turning that off so y'all can hear me. Okay, so back in the day, I was trying to find an apartment in Burbank because I lived there, and I found this one apartment. It was a studio apartment that I liked, and I'm pretty sure I was already approved to get it, and I had talked to someone over the phone about getting it. I was talking to someone over the phone about getting it, and she was like, okay, I'm actually legally obligated to tell you that the last tenant who was in this apartment passed away there. And I was like, oh. I legitimately asked her, I was like, is it haunted? And she was like, oh no, it's not haunted. And I was like, well, do you know how they passed away? Like, what happened? And she said, oh, is my understanding, it was peaceful. You know, it wasn't like a murder or anything, because I was not fucking moving in there if it was a murder. But anyway, I was like, okay, well, I'll live there. I was like, that's okay with me. Like, I'm still interested. And then I ended up getting the apartment. I ended up living there. So I didn't fully know what had happened for a while. Honestly, I assumed that it was a suicide because the gal that lived there before me was young, like 20s. And I don't know how I knew this. Maybe I just picked up on it. I didn't think she had any like known ongoing health issues, so I just assumed it was a suicide. Anyway, I started getting to know one of my neighbors. I talked to one of my neighbors. I don't remember his name, but for the sake of the story, I'm going to call him Jose. So Jose and I would talk occasionally, and we said hi here and there. Sometimes we'd both be hanging out by the pool and just chat. He was much older than me. I was like 20s, he was like 50s, just a nice older guy. Eventually, he told me about the gal who lived in the apartment before me. And he said to me that like they weren't really close, but they did, you know, occasionally like say hi or whatever, and just in passing, like wasn't just a kind of pretty like very casual like neighborly relationship, right? So he told me, and he had actually been there when she passed away. He was living there while she passed away. It wasn't even that long ago. I don't even think it was maybe it was like one full year. I think people didn't want to move in there because this woman had passed away there. Anyway, he was there the day she passed away. And, you know, the cops showed up, they did a welfare check, and it was confirmed. I knew she had died in the bathroom, dude. I knew it. I don't know what happened, but I just knew that's what occurred, because I felt weird energy there. So I was like, yeah, this is definitely where she left this world. Anyway, so he was there the day that she passed away. And cops showed up, you know, whoever, the morgue or whatever, ended up taking her body, and the cops were just getting a statement from him, and they were like, okay, so but at this point he didn't know that she had passed. He wasn't aware. I don't think they had already taken the body out with him not seeing it, or they hadn't even taken her body out. But so the cops were like, okay, when was the last time you saw her? And he said, I saw her today. And they were like, you saw her today? Like, the cops were there in the evening. Let's say they were there like around 5 o'clock, like after dark, okay? And they were like, what do you mean you saw her today? He was like, yeah, I saw her like this morning, this afternoon. She was just going into her apartment. She waved at me. He said that was normal, that they did that sometimes, that she would go into the apartment and he would just say hi. He said that happened that day. And the cops were like, were you drinking? Were you on drugs? And he was like, no, I was sober. Why are you asking me that? And they said that she had actually died the night before, but he had physically seen her that day. Spooky. So yeah, I also like I definitely felt a presence in that apartment multiple times. I think the gal who ended her life was like close to my age at the time. So I think there were a lot of times that she was just kind of like peeping in. Like, I never physically saw her, but I definitely felt like a weird presence. And actually got really, really, really depressed while I was living there. Like, that was a really fucking dark time. And finally it got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna leave. I was like, I just need to get the fuck out of here, which is what I ended up doing. And it wasn't even really because of what transpired with that gal who unfortunately ended her life, but finally I was just like so fed up with everything. I was like, bye. But isn't that spooky?